Not sure if boaters is appropriate? Efforts are being made to create a shortcut for boaters at Lake Powell.
After the veto of SB 1062, we look back at the controversy surrounding the bill. Good evening and welcome to NAZ Today. I'm community anchor Audrey Nagel. And I'm student anchor Adrian Grola. Thanks for joining us. Northern Arizona has been experiencing an unusually dry winter. The lack of precipitation in this region of the country is sure to be felt at Glen Canyon, affecting Lake Powell. Now, while that trend appears to be changing here in the coming days, work is currently underway to help deal with the low water levels and make for a better boating experience for visitors.
For decades, Lake Powell has served as a popular destination for those interested in boating, fishing, hiking, and other activities. Straddling the border of Arizona and Utah, the lake sits just behind Glen Canyon Dam. Now, water levels at the dam fluctuate based on the amount of rainfall and snowmelt, which directly affects Lake Powell's water levels and its boating visitors. For the last 2 years, boaters here at Lake Powell have been forced to take the over hour-long trip up the original channel of the Colorado River just to get to the main part of the lake, because low water levels have prevented the use of the Castle Rock Cut. The Castle Rock Cut is a shortcut that allows people to bypass the 10 to 12-mile detour that they now have to take, and construction is underway to make the cut accessible.
The fluctuating lake levels of Lake Powell have made this necessary, again, to give benefits to our boating public.
The cut not only benefits boaters, but has a positive economic impact.
By cutting that hour and 12 miles off helps in fuel savings. The environment is helped because of the emissions are reduced. The tour boats are able to get to other areas up lake so our visiting public can see new areas with shorter trips. And in general, with the Park Service, we want to recognize the needs of the public. And here on Lake Powell, it's oftentimes the boating public.
As you can imagine, making a land cut in the middle of a lake requires what Carl calls an interesting process.
We have to barge the heavy equipment over here to get to the site. Once they're on the site, it's really excavation, but in order to keep the water out, they cut the center down to the desired elevation and they leave the ends in as caps or almost dams. And then the very last thing they'll do is go to those end caps and back themselves out and cut those end caps out to allow the water to come in.
The work of deepening the cut is not being borne by taxpayers.
This project cost about $1,600,000 once complete. We have a large concession program here on Lake Powell, and the fees that go into the concession program, a part of them come back into projects like this, which again benefit the boating public and our visiting public.
The cut should be completed by the end of April, at which time it's up to Mother Nature to raise the water levels so visitors can utilize the shortcut and enjoy beautiful Lake Powell. For NAZ Today, I'm Kyle Benedict.
SB 1062 stands defeated. Jan Brewer vetoed the bill yesterday evening. Now, NAZ Today's Sierra Ferguson offers a look back at the controversy surrounding the bill and its importance moving forward.
Move on. We should try to solve these problems. Religious freedoms are very important, but the unintended consequences and the backlash is just too extreme, and we just need to back off this and really focus on the things that we need to be working on in Arizona. You know, sometimes both sides, left, right, we try to bring up these issues that tend to rile people up, rile up the base, and it's unfortunate.
Senate Bill 1062 has become a hot-button issue, something that a lot of people are passionate about. Councilman Jeff Orovitz and the Flagstaff Chamber of Commerce have come out in opposition of the bill, but they're not the only ones who want to see it vetoed. In fact, some of the youngest members of our community are coming out to make their voices heard.
We were just a bunch of 7th graders and we thought our opinions didn't really matter, but we could still show something that we cared.
Yesterday, just under a dozen 7th graders gathered out front of City Hall. They were eager to stand up for what they believed in, regardless of their distance from voting age.
I heard about it in social studies, and I thought, that sucks. You shouldn't just deny someone because of who they are or who they're attracted to. So me and my friend Tempest started making signs and like telling people about it, making announcements and stuff.
And I myself am Greek Orthodox, and if somebody turns me down at like a restaurant or something, I don't think that's right, you know?
We have a sign that says, honk if you agree that everybody should have the same rights. And we've been getting lots of honks. People are honking and supporting, and it's just like 7th graders, really.
The governor vetoed the bill, so it would seem that the voices of the community, including its youngest members, have been heard. Now, some say it's time for Arizona to move forward.
Our legislature and folks down there, let's focus on the infrastructure, education, things that really matter to most people. Folks have come out and said, let's just move past this now. Even folks on the right, Republicans who may have supported it, said, well, maybe this was a mistake. And I would have to agree with that.
For NAZ Today with videographer Miguel Alvarez, I'm Sierra Ferguson.
The case of a missing person comes to an unfortunate close tonight when the body of 22-year-old Christopher Fisher was found early yesterday evening. Yavapai County Sheriff's Office responded to a report saying a hunter found the male subject deceased. The body was recovered in a remote canyon area just northeast of Chino Valley. The cause of death is not yet determined and the investigation is ongoing. However, Yavapai County Sheriff's Office does not think foul play was involved.
Find out what some people are doing to celebrate Black History Month.
Plus, we travel back to 1800s to look at an unlikely architect who built northern Arizona landmarks.
All right, good evening, folks. I'll tell you, this Pacific satellite image is a sight for sore eyes. After talking about nothing happening out in the Pacific Basin for the last couple months, very strong storm system getting wound up off the California coast. And this storm is looking pretty good for us. Strongest storm by a long shot of the calendar year 2014. This one's going to deliver a much-needed soaking. We're going to talk about the details coming right up.
I was an ordinary guy, but I switched to Suddenlink's new internet, and now I can't stop being awesome, because it's the fastest in town. Downloads, uploads, any kind of load, everything just flows at speeds 13 times faster than phone company DSL. Even when the whole family is online, there's no buffering. With DSL, we were suffering. Yep, anything the phone company can do, I can do faster. Now that I have the next big thing from Suddenlink, now that I have a house full of easy.
Hi, I'm Terry Markson. As seasons change, so does the inventory at Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac. But before we make room for the 2014 Cadillacs, we've still got a huge selection of brand new 2013s to choose from. Models like the powerful CTS, the ATS voted 2013 Car of the Year, the popular SRX crossover, and Cadillac's crown jewel, the Escalade. You can always count on our same relaxed, no pressure environment. Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac, real hometown value.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
One local photographer proves pictures are truly worth 1,000 words with her newly launched project. NAZ Today's Amani Payne has the full story.
Humans of Flagstaff is a social media project that launched, believe it or not, on a Facebook page. Now this page posts pictures of people around Flagstaff accompanied with short quotations giving us a quick glimpse into the lives of the people living here in our mountain town, connecting our community one picture at a time. I'm now joined by Humans of Flagstaff creator Francisca Gonzalez. Francisca, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks.
Let's start off by you telling me, what was the inspiration for Humans of Flagstaff?
I was inspired by the Facebook page Humans of New York, and it was a Tumblr website and then a Facebook page, and then I realized that there is a lot of these pages for a lot of different cities. I started following one for Rome and Amsterdam and Paris, and so I was looking around to see if there was one for Flagstaff yet, and there wasn't, so I figured we should start one.
Now, I've checked out the page myself, and while there are some light felt posts, there are more serious ones, detailing death and divorce. Do you ever find a hard time getting these, strangers to open up with you about such personal experiences within the first 5 minutes of meeting them? And further, do you find a hard time asking them about these situations?
For the most part, people tend to be more open with a stranger than with those they're close to.
Interesting. Now, when you're walking around downtown with your camera, how do you decide who you're going to pass up and who you're going to photograph? Because, after all, everybody has their own story. So how do you decide whose is most important to tell?
I think I try to find people that most people wouldn't think to stop and talk to. Everyone does have a story, but I think it's just about trying to see who needs to tell their story more.
And what's your favorite part of the job?
I don't think I'd consider it a job. It's just something I do for fun, and it really is very fun. It's really personal to get to talk to somebody who you don't know and have them trust you so much to tell them such a personal story, and have people just open up to you so easily. It's really rewarding.
Now, the Facebook page has already received around 200 likes, so I mean, it seems like it's picking up quite a buzz around town. How do you feel about that?
It's a community-based project, like I said, and I think that if we didn't have anyone who was viewing the page or who cared, you know, it wouldn't be as successful as it is. And I think we need more people in Flagstaff to care about other people in Flagstaff.
Now, you've met a lot of people around town and heard a bunch of different stories, so I'm curious, what is your overall impression of the people of Flagstaff?
I think everyone's unique, and I don't think that this project has taught me so much about people in Flagstaff as much as it has taught me about people in general, and that everyone wants to tell their story. I think it really goes to show that just asking someone how their day is and really genuinely meaning it is good right there.
Nice. Well, again, thank you for joining me in the studio today, and make sure you all at home check out the Facebook page at Humans of Flagstaff, because I mean, you never know, you might see a picture of a friend or even yourself.
As Black History Month comes to an end, Black Student Union Secretary Marissa Mitchell speaks with reporter Danielle Gomez about its importance and how other organizations were involved in celebrating.
This month, as you know, February is Black History Month. We're coming to the end of it as March is coming up, but we did a lot of great stuff this month. We focused a lot on tailoring our meetings to focus on Black History Month and a lot of Black historical figures. We even did a video about NAU campus, what do you know about Black History Month?
BSU Vice President Spencer Sanders coordinated a multitude of events throughout the month. Specifically, in response to their video, students found that many weren't educated or had forgotten about Black historical figures in American history.
Okay, so Black History Month is important because Black history is a part of American history too. It's a staple of that. And I feel that at Black Student Union, we're educating not only our Black students, but any minority and anybody on campus that wants to be informed about history in general. So come out to our last event this Thursday, Apollo Night in the Du Bois Ballroom at 7 p.m. and come support the last event of Black History.
The Navajo Nation faces the loss of jobs and vital revenue source. That's after the New Mexico State Senate rejected HJR 15, the 2014 Gaming Compact. Without a new compact, New Mexico casinos face possible closure that would put nearly 1,000 people out of work. The current agreement for the Navajo Nation expires in 2016. Now the Navajos will look to adopt a similar agreement to the one used by the Puebloan people. Navajo Nation President Ben Shelley says this setback will negatively affect the Navajo people.
Northern Arizona is filled with a lot of history, particularly many of our old buildings date back to the 1800s. Today's History Minute features one of the architects from over 100 years ago. NAZ Today's Colleen Sikora brings you today's History Minute.
Back in 1893, many women were not given the titles they deserved, including one woman from Northern Arizona, Mary Jane Coulter.
She was a very talented architect, although at the time women were not called architects, only men. So she was referred to as a designer.
Mary Jane Coulter designed many buildings around Northern Arizona today, including the La Posada Watchtower at the Grand Canyon, the interior of El Tovar, and several Fred Harvey buildings along the Santa Fe Railroad. Not only is what she designed unique, but the portrait of her is unique as well.
Well, it's very unusual. It's one of the few actual painted portraits done of her. This one is of her in her younger years.
The portrait was painted by a friend and mentor of hers, Arthur F. Matthews, in 1893, who inscribed the portrait as well. According to Joe Meehan, the curator of the Pioneer Museum, the frame is also very appropriate for the time period it was painted in.
The frame around it is quite unusual. It's an Oriental, or actually it's an Arabic style.
This portrait is one of Arizona Historical Society's 150 objects that defines Arizona's history and is on display at the Pioneer Museum, which reopens March 1st. For today's History Minute with videographer Nick Ponticello, I'm Colleen Sikora.
Cooler temperatures swept northern Arizona today. Will they continue to drop? Meteorologist Lee Bourne has the forecast.
And the Phoenix Suns had a rough game last night, but we have highlights for you coming up.
I bought Pepsi Next.
What's Pepsi Next?
It's the latest cola from Pepsi. It's got real cola taste with 60% less sugar.
Real cola taste, 60% less sugar.
Yeah, I know.
It's unbelievable.
But this is the most impressive thing I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Oh, definitely. Let me get the camera. I've never had anything like it. My parents are gonna.
Yeah, they're gonna be so proud.
Pepsi Next. Drink it to believe it.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised.
Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Tonight's NAZ Today weather is brought to you in part by Terry Markson Chevrolet Cadillac in Flagstaff.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
All right, little storm system rolling through the region today. We'll call it weak compared to the one that's going to follow. Today's high temperatures down a bit from where we've been all week. 51 degrees today in Flagstaff, and with the breezy overnight, a very mild overnight, 29 degrees, well above the average for this time of year. Taking a look at the precipitation, obviously we all know it's been a very dry calendar year 2014. Today, a trace precipitation, some weak showers out there today with this little storm passage, but look how below we are, 7.40 inches since September 1. Good 4.5 inches below average. Here in 2014, we've only received 0.29 of an inch of precipitation. We should already be over 4 inches. We're going to get some help here in the precipitation category with the next storm system because it's a very wet one. It was a very windy day out there today. Let's talk about some of those wind gusts out there today. Grand Canyon, 59 miles per hour. Same at Winslow. Here in Flagstaff, gusting to 50 miles per hour. Up on Navajo Nation, 54 miles per hour in Kayenta and Page, gusting up around 40 miles per hour out there today. Okay, so here's a look at that storm system that moved through the region today. Most of the shower activity up along our northern border, but a few showers broke out, and this is already exiting the state. The next storm system off your screen, that's the big one, and it's going to be moving in for us as soon as tomorrow. And by tomorrow day, we're going to have another windy day as this storm system begins to make its way into California, and it'll eventually make its way into Arizona tomorrow night. But look at the storm system. We've been talking over the last 2 months about this just being all high pressure out here and no storms being able to make their way in, no Pacific moisture. The storm track's been coming down out of British Columbia, but no, this is more optimum, right in off the Pacific, and there's a whole bunch of moisture associated with this one. See the moisture plume tailing off on the southern end of this cold front. Tomorrow, a windy day, clouds on the increase, and we'll see some rain showers throughout the day, heavy rain for much of Arizona Friday night into Saturday. So some of the highlights of the way the storm system is going to play out. Tomorrow, we have that windy day with some rain showers, particularly during the afternoon. Tomorrow night, soaking rain. Snow level will be quite high. It's a warm storm, and all through Friday night, snow level will be around 8,000 feet. So it's going to be a rain for a lot of folks, but snow levels will fall off here as we get into Saturday. Saturday during the day, they'll slowly drop down to 6,000 feet. I think rain turns to snow for us in Flagstaff early Saturday morning with snow showers continuing throughout the day, and you can expect winter driving conditions across the high country of Arizona through the day on Saturday. I think we end up with 2 to 6 inches of snow in Flagstaff after we get a bunch of rain before that. So 1 to 2.5 inches of moisture for the Mogollon Rim country. That's a lot of rain. It's going to be spread over some time, so I don't think flooding is going to be a big concern. And further north of the Mogollon Rim, as you get up into the Navajo Nation, Hopi area, I think we're looking for more than a ½ inch to an inch of rain and 18 to 24 inches of snow above 8,000 feet, up to 2 feet of snow up on the San Francisco peaks. Okay, here's a graphic taken from the National Weather Service and Flagstaff's homepage, and this is our precipitation forecast. Flagstaff, Payson, all these light pinks, that's 2.5 inches plus of moisture. The darker pinks, the outlying areas of Flagstaff, the outlying areas of the Mogollon Rim, that's in the 2 to 2.5 inches of moisture range. Then you get out here into the Navajo Nation region, and we're up here in around a ½ inch to an inch, as I just mentioned. Okay, currently outside, it's 46 degrees, partly cloudy, winds gusting to 31 miles per hour overnight tonight. Winds will diminish somewhat, but it'll still be breezy all the way through the night. Early morning low 28 degrees. Tomorrow 46. We talked about it. Clouds on the increase, windy, and rain showers develop late in the day with the heavy rain overnight into Friday or Saturday morning. Okay, here's a look at those temperatures for us elsewhere across the state. 59 Payson, 67 Winslow. Be a windy day for everybody. Okay, here's a look at the extended forecast. Rain turns over to snow on Saturday. I think we're 2 to 6 inches in Flagstaff. Maybe a few flurries lingering into Sunday, and we're out of it with some more mild weather in store as we get into next week. Okay, for you down in Sedona, it's going to be all rain. Heavy rain Friday night and Saturday, rain showers Saturday, and I think you're done with it by Sunday. But temperatures cool as they've been around here in a while.
Okay, so we're getting some precipitation finally.
Yep.
And I've actually been hearing some rumors that our sports is finally going to be affected by this weather that we always anticipate.
And that's actually true. There's a lot of baseball going on this weekend, and the NAU baseball team has got some stuff going on. I'll tell you more about it coming up.
At Northern Arizona University,
it's possible to find your voice.
It's possible to explore.
It's possible to achieve.
It's possible to imagine.
It's possible to define our future.
It's possible to make a difference.
At Northern Arizona University, possibilities are a principle we believe in.
What's possible for you?
Northern Arizona University, the difference that matters.
High school basketball is not over just yet. The Flagstaff boys basketball team is in the semifinals for the Division II state championships. Last night, the Eagles beat the Shadow Ridge Stallions 61-53. Senior guard Trevor Johnson finished the night with 23 points. The number 3 Eagles are facing number 2 Tempe tonight at Jobbing.com Arena in Phoenix, and the Eagles just won 64-62 for the buzzer beater court length shot by Connor Estes. And when you hear that it's the season of spring, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Baseball, of course. High school baseball season has stepped up to home plate, and the Flagstaff Eagles have taken the first swing. Last night, the Flagstaff Eagles shut out Casa Grande 10-0. And then earlier today, the Eagles hosted Pueblo for their first home game of their season. The Flagstaff's next home game is tomorrow against Desert View at 4 o'clock, followed by their second game of the night at 7 against Canyon del Oro. And the NPA Spartans are grabbing their mitts as they face Scottsdale Christian Academy earlier this evening at 4 o'clock. And while high school teams are on the field, the NAU baseball team has made some slight changes to their schedule. Due to the weather, the Jacks have canceled their first home game series against Cal State Fullerton. Their next upcoming game will be on March 8th for their Cal State Long Beach series. Their Cal State Fullerton series has been moved to the end of the season on April 19th and 20th. With baseball season starting up, basketball season is coming to a close. With just 4 games left of the season, the NAU women's basketball team is trying to end their season on a winning note. The NAU women's basketball team is in the Sky Dome tonight to play conference rival Idaho State at 6:30. The Lady Jacks are 9-16 overall and are 6-10 in conference. And the men are on the road to take on Idaho State as well at 6:30. The NAU Division II hockey team is on the ice for some intense practicing these next few weeks as they prepare for the ACHA National Championships in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Now, the bracket has not yet been released, but take a look here who the Ice Jacks will be playing. NAU, Grand Valley State, New Hampshire, and Liberty are all in the same pool for the Nationals. Until spring break rolls around on March 21st, the Ice Jacks will be preparing for the Nationals just outside of Boston. Staying on the ice, the Phoenix Coyotes are finally home from the Winter Olympics in Sochi. The Coyotes are in Winnipeg tonight to play the Jets as this game has started at 6 o'clock. The Coyotes are 27, 21, and 10 this season and are ranked 5th in the Pacific Division. Last night, the Phoenix Coyotes last night, the Phoenix Suns took on the Utah Jazz last night in Salt Lake City. And coming up here in the second, Ish Smith with the drive to the hoop, and he's turned back by Favors. Then the Suns don't get back in transition, and it leads to the easy dunk for Gordon Hayward. Pumped up about that. Now coming up here into the fourth, Hayward with the crossover and the spin move as he gets to the bucket and draws the and one. Hayward just on fire tonight, and then again in the fourth, he draws the defense, which leads to the wide open three-pointer for Garrett. Hayward finished the game with 17 points and 10 rebounds as the Jazz trounced the Suns 109-86. Pretty disappointing loss for the Suns. I know, and unfortunately that happens, but
looking forward to Gorin getting back and Bledsoe too. So
yeah, that'll be really good for the Phoenix Suns to get those guys back. So.
Especially in time for the playoffs when they come.
Right?
Yeah. We'll be right back.
Oh no, we're going to take a look at the weather forecast here for us. So tomorrow expect wind. There's no rain showers overnight tonight. Rain showers tomorrow afternoon. Heavy rain as we get into tomorrow night. Some snow for us in Flagstaff on Saturday and a few flurries on Sunday. I think here in Flagstaff we maybe get 2 to 6 inches of snow, but probably an inch of rain or so before that all goes down. So some much needed moisture coming our way.
Now in play in Bakersfield, 61. Looking, oh my gosh. Did you guys see that? Sorry. There was a spider that fell.
Ooh.
Take it easy.
A California weatherman fought a spider on air and won. The spider descended onto Aaron Perlman's head while the meteorologist was reporting on live television. From there, the fight was on with Perlman totally spooked until he spots the spider on the floor and stomps on it with his foot. The Bakersfield meteorologist admits he suffers from arachnophobia and says the spider simply creeped him out.
Never happened to me.
That's good to hear.
We keep it tidy around here.
We'll make sure to stay tuned. We have NAU versus Idaho State right after this. Thank you and have a good night.